Hi, my name's Simon Newton, former military, former celebrity bodyguard and now actor, and the owner of SimonNewtonLondon.com, and this is the Shizzio Show.
Streetlife is the only life that we know. Ghetto life, down in the ghetto we born and grow. No.
Okay, we are back. Another guest. Do we stop? Of course no. You know, we've got a big guest in the house, and I use the term loosely. The brother's wide as shit. Let me tell you something, bro. You're going to need a wide screen for this one. Amazing story. We're going to get into it. Celebrity bodyguard, fashionista. What else is it, man? Come on.
Actor.
They like that. The list don't stop. Like, I was checking this brother out for, holy shit. His resume as long as my arm. But let's get to the start. Mr. Simon Newton is in the building.
How you doing, mate?
I'm very well, sir. Thank you for coming.
You're welcome.
You come from far or just local?
Like I'm London, I live in London, so yeah, not too far.
Can we tell the people where we're not?
Well, I live in the southwest, but I come from north today.
Okay.
Yeah.
The good side of
The good
town.
side, yeah.
Yeah, they told me the town, I was like, they got money, you know what I'm saying? But we love to see it. Amazing journey. You've done so much, from celebrity bodyguarding to fashion to even acting now.
Yeah.
So you're really ticking off, like you're doing life goals after life goals, side quest after side quest, ticking it off. So, but let's just start from the start, sir. Born and raised where?
Eastbourne, East Sussex. They're down on the coast.
Where the fuck is that?
I know, everyone says that. It's near, if I say it's near Brighton, you know where it is now, don't you?
Yeah, okay, cool. Do you know what it is? People in London are quite ignorant, bro. We seem to think fucking London is London, and then Manchester and Birmingham, and then we're done.
Yeah, it's literally 30 minutes from Brighton,
Okay.
down the coast, coastal town.
Explain that for people that don't know what that part of the UK is like.
Quiet. It's a nice place to grow up,
Right.
but it's changed a lot now today to when I grew up there, like
Everything's
everywhere
changed.
else has.
Right.
But there's not a lot of opportunity in terms of work, unless you want to be a tradesman or maybe work in a factory or retail. Outside of that, if you want to do more than that, there's not a lot of opportunity down there.
Not to be rude, is this one of them seaside places where old
Yeah,
people
it is,
go?
exactly. It is full of old people in the summer.
Don't be rude.
Yeah. So it's
You
cracking holiday.
He's laughing there. Cracking holiday, caravan, mate. Fucking mustard. Do you know what I mean? Okay, so literally like a seaside
it is that,
type of resort.
Yeah.
There's not much going on.
No, not for younger people. Not for if you live there for business opportunity. It's not really going to benefit you.
So when you're a kid there, how is that for you then?
I had a good time. It was a safe place.
Right.
There's lots of things to do. You know, it's South Downs is there, so you go walking and bike riding and running and kite flying, all the things you do as a kid.
Walking, bike riding, kite flying is alien to these people. This new generation got a fucking Scooby, what that means, mate.
That's what we used to do.
Their house. You get what I'm saying?
That's what we used to do back in the day.
So you're outside.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing, isn't it? And it's crazy in that era. Your mum's telling you to fucking come in. Now your mum's telling you to go out.
To get out, yeah.
So literally just exploring.
Yeah, we'd never want to go home. No one ever wanted to go back in.
Play until the sun
you
goes
stay
down.
out, yeah.
We love it. Brothers and sisters, sir?
One sister, so all my family still live down in Eastbourne.
Yep.
She's got family as well, so yeah, literally all my family is still. I'm the only one who ever moved out of it.
Right. Are you getting into trouble down there, or is it kind of?
I'm always getting into trouble, mate.
Yeah, but there's like types of trouble.
Not particularly.
No.
Not so relatively.
Hey, he's hiding something, you know. I know you up to say no.
I was relatively.
Are you sure?
Clever.
Okay, clever. Is there temptation to do bad stuff over there, or?
Probably not down there. I mean, the one thing you get in a lot of small towns is that people seem to fight a lot more.
Right.
Because I think because it's a small town, everyone knows everyone. People want to make a name for themselves. I noticed when I moved to London many years later. Obviously, you still get fights in London,
right?
But not so much. No one knows anyone, especially central London. It's a lot of all types of different people from all over the world, and you don't seem to get it. Small town mentality, you can get it quite often. Fights, but not really.
Are you fighting a lot then?
I mean, when I was younger, I was a soldier, obviously, as well. So
we're going to get into that.
Exactly.
Don't you worry, mate. Put a pin in that chapter. I'm coming to it.
But by and large, not really, no.
No, you're not really fighting?
Nah.
Why do I get the feeling you're hiding something from me?
Well, I don't know. It's a strange feeling, isn't it?
Yeah, I feel like he's not letting off. Fair enough. Okay, so you're not really fighting. Then are you then studying then? Are you studying?
No, well, I joined the army.
Do you know what school is? Yeah, but there is primary and secondary.
Okay,
I
so
was
school
born, I
was,
fucking joined the army.
school was a no for me, really. It was a waste of time.
Right.
My last year and a bit of school, I didn't really go.
Okay.
I went and got a job working in a fair.
Okay. Why is school a waste of time? Are you just not getting on with education? Are your parents not pushing you that way?
I always knew how to make money.
Okay,
and,
how?
And school doesn't teach you to do that.
Okay, how did you know?
I think 8 years old, I learnt that I bought a roll of Donald Duck stickers and I sold them for
Shout out Donald.
more. I know, he set me up for life.
Come on. Quack, motherfucker. Sorry. Right, go on.
And I sold them for more than I paid,
How much
paid
for
it. I can't remember. That was like £3 a roll, sold them for 25p each or whatever.
Hustling.
But I knew, and that's when I knew at that age that that's how easy it is to make money.
Yeah.
And then after then, school was a bit of a struggle for me because I couldn't do that at school.
Hustle.
Yeah, you just can't.
Yeah.
I got shut down because there were stickers all around the school everywhere, so they stopped me from doing it, and I realised how
Well, you just change it
temperamental business can be as well.
You just go from Donald to Mickey, innit, bruv? And say, it ain't me, bruv. But you get what I'm saying? Are your parents two like together?
Yeah. We're still together to this day.
Cool.
Yeah.
We love to see it. And in that area, is it predominantly white? Is it a mix?
Back then, it was predominantly white.
Yeah.
It was very mixed now.
Yeah.
Back when I was a child, it was predominantly like
Sure
that,
thing.
yeah.
Okay, so you're not studying. You don't care about school. Are your parents kind of asking you, like, making you start wanting to study?
Yeah, I wanted to. Yeah, of course. A lot of the time, I didn't know I wasn't there. So
Okay.
back then it's different. School's different now. I think I don't know exactly how it works, but it's a lot. They clamp down
go,
and
you get letters,
and you
you
get
get
charged.
fines
Fine,
and
that's
they
it.
knock on your fucking
There wasn't one of any of that. You do a register in the morning. And if you walked out and went home, no one would ever say anything for the rest of the day back then. So,
Right.
and that was kind of how easy it was to not go.
Right.
And it
So
was
what are you doing?
easy.
Biking, kiting, or cycling?
Around mates' houses, just out and about. Yeah, just doing anything but that really.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. So you're not really you don't care about school, and then when does this army creep in then?
I was an army cadet when I was a kid.
Right.
So all my friends were from army cadets, not from school.
Was that the thing to do then in the town? Kind of?
Not necessarily. A lot of us did do it, but
Right.
you still had to have an interest in the army to want to do it. There's a lot of kids that didn't do anything like
But
that as
can
well.
you break down army cadets for those that don't know what that is?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of adventure training, canoeing, rock climbing, do a lot of camping, firing, shooting ranges, kind of like...
Yeah, what fucking cadet is
Yeah,
this,
I mean, it's
bruv?
great.
Sign me up.
I mean, there's still very much a big thing today.
Yeah.
But I did that from the age of 13 till 17, 18 or something like that.
Right.
Before I joined the military.
Is that every evening or is that a
It's
weekly thing?
one night a week, and then you go on weekend camps 2 weeks in the summer.
Right. And you're just enjoying that? Are you enjoying the
I loved
brotherhood?
it.
Or what?
Yeah,
what
I
is
loved it. It was just getting away, getting out with your mates, and it was good fun.
Is that kind of a family away from a family kind of thing? Is that what it is? The camaraderie or?
Yeah, it's different. It's not your mum and dad, is it? So,
Yeah.
I think every child likes to be able to go off and sort of not be around their parents at times.
And then there's a lot of like, I suppose, taking orders and stuff like that. Is it like
There
a
was a lot of
discipline
that.
aspect?
Yeah, there was a lot of that. I didn't really think much of that at the time, but
you
there was a
didn't?
lot of that. No, it didn't really bother me.
Are you being disciplined at home though?
Yeah. Yeah, I had I wouldn't say a strict upbringing.
That
but
year was one of them old school
yeah,
disciplines.
but there was discipline in the house for sure.
Is that like you got ass whooping?
No, it wasn't that bad.
Oh, there wasn't that?
No, it wasn't that bad.
I
but
got ass whooping. I thought straight. The
things
belt
were,
was off, bro.
things were regimented. Times to be in, you had to be in, and time to go to bed.
Yeah, but then
and
if you
washing
didn't
up,
do that,
cleaning.
then what happened?
I'd get. I think it was called. I'm going to say grounded.
Grounded, yeah.
Is that right? Where you have to stay in for 5 nights or
Yeah,
whatever it is.
yeah,
I used to get that.
And
yeah.
you're kind of obeying your parents.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's quite
yeah,
good then.
Yeah. I was relatively. I was a good child.
Yeah, because you're kind of painting the picture of bunking school and not doing all that.
Yeah,
But at the
yeah.
same time, you got the.
I wasn't caught for that, though. You see, had I been caught for that,
Hey.
it might have been a different
Yeah,
story.
but you got the respect of your parents, and we love to see that.
Yeah, yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
We love to
yeah.
see that. So you're in army cadets, doing army stuff, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then I suppose is that where your passion then?
Kind of, yeah. When I was a kid, all I wanted to be was a soldier. So you had all the everyone else in class wanted to be astronauts, scientists, doctors. I just wanted to be a soldier.
Can you pinpoint where that came from?
No, not really.
don't
Apart from
know?
when I was real young, I'd always be running around the garden with a stick
Yeah.
and shooting
So
things with it.
It wasn't like a Predator movie or something that said,
No.
"Oh, Commando. I wanna
Well,
be
that's
that
what
one."
it would have been back then as well. What films?
Yeah, come
there
on,
wasn't- there
Predator,
wasn't-
Commando.
Platoon. There's always a good one. Platoon.
Rambo.
Rambo,
Come
yeah.
on, it was all going off,
Yeah,
mate.
yeah. I mean, Platoon was a good one if you wanted to join the army. Yeah.
So you didn't.
I just always had an interest in it. Not particularly just the guns and shit, just the whole thing. I had an interest in it.
When you mean the whole thing, what do you mean?
Well, the physical aspect, the surviving in awful weather, the being together, with, you know, getting out there and doing a job. But
Man was
tough.
Bear Grylls before Bear Grylls.
It's tough. It's a tough job.
Yeah, but then some would go, fuck that.
The challenge.
That.
The challenge.
Okay,
That's what I like.
The challenge.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you always want to be a soldier. So in your mind, are you thinking, I'm always going to join the army?
Yeah. I didn't really want to do anything. I didn't think of anything else. And bearing in mind where I lived, it was quite a good option as well if I wanted to get away.
So is that one of the like few options to get away?
Probably, yeah. I think it is in most small towns.
And did you want to get away then? Did you realise?
Yeah, I want to get away from that town. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Why was that? Is it just
it's nothing for me? Nothing I wanted to do there.
Yeah.
If I was going to make a living there, it'd have been doing something I didn't want to do.
And are you working part time at all?
I had a job at the fair.
Come on.
Yeah. Did what did I do? Go karts, bouncy castle.
Yeah. Selling tickets on the side.
Roller coaster.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I couldn't. When I started, it used to be cash.
Okay.
Like 50p, and they changed it to tokens.
What's cash? Because there's some people that
I changed it to tokens
Yeah.
the year I started, so you couldn't really get away with it.
But so there's not a lot of opportunity, right?
Not really. I think even less now, but then there weren't a lot neither. Really.
Okay, and you're kind of poised to go into the army. This is what you want to do.
Yeah.
Okay, so you join the army at age what?
So when I was 18, I actually joined the reserves first.
Right.
What was at the time was called TA, part-time army.
The territorial army.
That's it. Yeah.
Right.
And then
I remember the adverts.
Yeah. There used to be loads of them. Yeah.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Right.
And I wasn't in it that long before I went across to the regular army. I just thought, you know, this is what I got posted out to Canada.
Is that straight away or?
Pretty much. I did 13 months out there.
Right, so hold on. As soon as you join the army, they just send you to Canada?
Well, no, obviously you've got to do your training.
How long's the training?
But, so it was about 8 months.
And break down the training for people.
So training, it depends on what you go in. So everybody does basic training, which is to be a soldier.
Right.
And then I was in the Royal Signals.
So what's the basic training?
Basic training, weapons handling to learn how to use your firearm, drill, marching around, discipline, field craft, which is working outside, reading, first aid.
Right.
So all your core soldiering skills.
Yeah.
I'm going to forget a load now.
No, it's cool.
It's a long time ago.
I get the gist.
Yeah, but sort of like the course. So every soldier does that. It doesn't matter if you're a chef. It doesn't matter if you're in the SAS. You've got at the very start of anyone's career, they will all do the core soldiering skills.
Basics.
Yeah.
And are you kind of enjoying that? Are you kind of relishing it, or is it kind of more than you bargained for, kind of thing? Because some people have an idea of army in their mind, and perhaps when they get into it, they're like, shit.
No, I enjoyed it.
Yeah?
Because I enjoyed it. And I touched on a lot of it. Obviously in the Army Cadets, it's not the same level as what you do in the Army, but I touched on various bits of it already. So I've been wet and cold before. I'd fired the weapons before. So I had a little bit of an idea, but I mean, you are still starting from scratch. But.
And then you're away from home in barracks and stuff like that. How are you kind of finding that away from home?
It's good.
Just full of geezers everywhere.
It's good. It's good
Testosterone overload. Holy shit.
The thing is, when training's not the same as being in the army.
Right.
So training, you are all lumped together and you will train. But when you actually go, I mean, again, it's a lot different and probably better now than it was when I was in. But like now, I think you get one-man rooms with an ensuite shower and you live like it's a small apartment block.
PS5, Netflix
you
code,
get everything. You get all that now.
Swear.
Yeah. Or if you want it, you get it yourself. But you're allowed to have all that now.
Right.
If you go back to when my time. You might get a one-man, normally 4-man rooms. If you go back even further, you're looking at maybe 12 in a room.
Yeah, like
do you know
the
what I mean?
films. That's what I can think of American films.
So
you're in a 4-man room?
As I was 4-man when I was in, I did a 2-man as well, I think at one time. But now they're all one with showers.
Fucking hell, mate.
Yeah.
And are you allowed to leave the barracks, or is it very?
Yeah, training. No, you're not. It's obviously regimented to what you're meant to be doing. But once you're at your unit, it kind of can be, unless you're on operations or on exercise. Like training, it's kind of a 9 to 5. You get most weekends off unless you're away doing something.
Okay.
You can go home at weekends if you live close enough.
Where was your barracks, sorry?
I was down at a place called Thorney Island down in Portsmouth.
And how far is that? That's far
it was an hour and a half, 2 hours for me to get home. But I didn't really go home. But obviously in Canada, I was in Canada, do you know what I mean? So I didn't.
Was there parts of the training where you thought, fuck this is too much, mate, I'm off?
No.
Are you allowed to leave?
I'm not sure.
The whole stigma of you can't leave.
You can, yeah. I'm not sure. You can't just walk out, but I'm not sure how it works now, if I'm really honest. But again,
this is all then.
Then I can't even remember then. I think we had you have so you get phase 1 and phase 2 training. At the end of phase 1, I think you can leave. I think phase 1, I think you might have been able to leave at any time.
And what's phase 1? What, 3 months, 6 months?
Oh God.
So roughly.
Roughly about 3 months, yeah.
I won't quote you.
Yeah. No, it's like 20 odd years ago for me.
Right.
So you it's easier to leave. The longer you're in, the harder it is to leave. But many years ago, you pay your way to get out. You don't do any of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you don't do that anymore.
So
now.
you've got to pay them to kind of...
If you want out instantly, I think that back then, if you had a medical discharge,
right,
you could be out instantly. But normally, I can't remember, but you sign on for I think it was 3 years to start with. And I think you could sign on for 3 years maybe, or 2 years thereafter. So if you come to the end of your term, it's easy to leave.
Right.
If you want to get out before the end of your term,
leave.
You couldn't leave. There was ways of doing it, but
it's very difficult.
Not really meant to, if you know what I mean. Yeah.
And then are there like people leaving around you, or is it just a case of everyone's a team, nobody like you're
No, everyone has their own agenda. Some people do 3 years, some people do 22 years. So it depends what, some people loved it, some people didn't mind it, some people didn't like it, so they did the minimum.
So your kind of mindset going in was what? I'm here.
Well, I thought I was going to do 22.
Oh, you thought
that's what I wanted to do, yeah. That's originally when I joined. I didn't join for a short, although I did a short period of time.
Right.
That's not why I joined.
You thought I'm doing this.
Yeah.
Okay, so you do your training and then what, you're given an option to kind of go into different routes?
Depending what regiment cap badge you're in.
Right.
It's depending on what you will do next. So because I was Royal Signals, I did communications.
Right, do you get a choice of that? Or is it just
so the choice starts before when you first sign up.
Right.
You don't do that phase 1 training and then choose.
Right.
It gets chosen. You choose, and depending on what it is you go for, you have to do tests, technical tests,
right,
written tests, physical tests. Because all different regiments have different physical tests.
Yeah.
If you're going to go and be a helicopter engineer in the army, obviously you have to have some sort of academic background. So there's all sorts of tests depending on what you want to do. So you can choose, but you've also got to pass the tests to be able to get your regiment.
Sure.
If you don't get the regiment you want, you can choose another one with maybe a lesser requirement.
Right. So you go down the communications route?
Communications, yeah.
What is that for those that don't know? Like me?
Yeah. I mean, literally it's radios, like...
okay.
I don't know.
Just
communicate,
talking.
Yeah. It started off as VHF and HF radios, which is just normal, like handheld radios, but on a bigger scale.
Right, walkie-talkies.
But on a much bigger scale. So you could communicate across the world if you did it correctly.
Right.
Now it's all satellite.
Right.
It's a lot easier now.
I'm guessing the internet wasn't around then.
No, it wasn't. No,
right.
No.
Yeah.
When did the internet come out? It was. Do you know what? It was starting.
Can we know the year of this?
Yeah, I was thinking it's 2000.
Okay.
So it was about, but it wasn't being used the way
MSN Messenger was about.
It is today.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those little...
And there was stuff coming out like that when I was in, certainly with the satellite and stuff. And
do the army have technology that we don't see, like way before?
Nah, well, not when I was in.
Be honest.
Not when I was in.
Because you meant to have this shit early.
No, I mean we might get it before. It gets used, in the sort of civilian commercial world maybe, but we might trial it to see if it does what. Was
there anything you had early doors?
Not that I'm aware of.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I thought if you're in the army, you get everything. Do you know what I mean?
No. I mean, the use of satellites and stuff was new to the military at a certain stage, but then I think, like boats and people like were already using satellites.
Did you have the iPhone in 2000 when it came out in 2004? Be honest. Did Steve Jobs say, mother have to? But there is this whole thing of the government has technology that we don't see, and then when they're really done with it, we get like the shit.
Oh, right, the shit of it. I don't, who knows?
Innit? What do you mean? Be honest, bro. You're out of there now, don't worry.
Well, they say, don't they, that besides with the military, because the military don't get it. But they reckon that, the government or whoever makes this technology is always 10, 15, 20 years ahead of what we're already getting now.
Yeah.
And do I know it for a fact? No. Do I believe that? I don't believe it, disbelieve it. It's not unlikely, though, is it? Let's face it.
Okay.
So what I mean.
Be honest. Is there racism in the army?
Not when I was there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people would think it's very white British.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of ethnicity.
Do you know the reason why there isn't? It's because your team. Everyone works together. It doesn't matter colour, religion, size, weight, male, female anymore. I think the army used to only be for male, not female as well. Because when it's all going horribly wrong and you're out in some country in the world getting shot, no one that's the last thing. What's on?
Yeah.
Everyone sticks together. Everyone patches each other up if they get shot.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Even if it's someone in your platoon or squadron you don't like because you just don't get on when you're on operations, you get on.
But I suppose that's a difference to being in operation modes. But when you're in kind of barrack mode, you don't have that whole I'm gonna die, so I need to be on the same.
Yeah, I mean,
page.
look, you get people you don't like, the same as you do in every.
No, sure.
Do you know what I mean?
Do you know what it is? I'm just going with generalizations of misconceptions or whatever that I think people would have just assumed.
Yeah, but I never had any around me when I was in.
Yeah.
To say it doesn't happen at all would be stupid because it probably happens in every thing. But no, it certainly wasn't rife or a known place to have it. Do you know what I mean?
Of course.
Yeah.
And is it like heavily white British in there? Like, is it heavily white in there? I'm not trying to take you down a hole, by the way.
I'm just trying to think, really.
No,
not really. I mean, a lot of regiments had. So we used to get a lot of Fijians. Because we had some sort of, again, not sure how it worked, we had some sort of thing with Fiji where they could come over and join the British Army.
Join the army,
yeah.
Man. Come on.
Obviously,
grab a gun.
The Gurkhas, the Nepalese.
Yeah.
So, we had a lot of them. Number of African countries could come over and join.
Yeah.
So,
but the ratio-wise, what are you seeing? Is it mainly white British?
Today, probably not. When I was in, probably, yeah.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
Like, I can understand it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you do the radio stuff, and then you get sent to Canada.
Yeah, went out to Canada, yeah.
Why did you get sent out to Canada? Is that just...
I asked to go. It was an option. It was a posting, so I put forward to go.
Okay, so then what? Is it like a job thing? Like there's post...
Yeah, not normally. So sometimes you get told you're going to things.
Right, you get...
And then sometimes there's opportunities if you think it's something you might want to do, you can put in... You don't necessarily get it, but you can put in for it.
Right, and where in Canada? Toronto or
no,
Vancouver? Because that's what I
It was near Calgary, a place called Medicine Hat.
Colder than a motherfucker.
Yeah, winter was freezing.
Mate,
awful, yeah.
Drop me out. I
it
went
was.
to fucking Toronto on New Year's Eve. Biggest mistake of my fucking life. I was wearing a shirt trying to go in the club. Mate!
Yeah, it's cold. It's a cold country in the winter.
And you just wanted to just explore the world, or?
Yeah, I wanted to go and explore working and seeing what it was like in other countries, really.
Right, and then you were just doing more of the communication stuff?
Well, it was range safety. So out there, they used to fire tanks, like armoured infantry, which is guys in the back of tanks, if you like, will get out, and it's all live firing, mortars, rockets.
Yeah, but who are you firing against? Is this war or is this practice?
No, it's a range.
Right.
But it's the size of, I think it's the size of Hungary, the training area.
He's from Hungary, you know.
There you go.
Why are you bombing this country, bro? Leave him alone, innit?
Yeah.
There you go.
So it's one of the only places I think it's shut down now, but it's only one of the places in the world where the British Army could exercise a full battle group.
You just go there and just
and live fire.
Play your army,
yeah,
basically.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. What's the worst thing you've seen in that army thing?
In the army, not a lot. I did the Iraq 2003.
Okay, right. Let's stop right there. Cool. So you're doing the kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's all good. Are you actually thinking I'm going to go war, like frontline stuff?
I wanted to.
You wanted to?
Yeah, because that's why you join the army. There's no point in just like joining a football team, never getting a game otherwise.
Yeah, but there's a difference. This is like life or death, though, isn't it? It's not a football game.
Yeah, but you don't join the army thinking that. You know
but
what I mean?
Looking back, is that a naive mindset, or is that
I wanted to experience. That's why I joined the army.
You wanted to go to war?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Okay. Why?
It's something I just wanted to experience.
Yeah, some people want to experience a fucking walk in the park, or do you know what I mean? I'm curious as to where
but I don't know the reason to it. I don't know.
You don't know.
I don't know the reason
because
as to why.
Because it's a very aggressive mindset, isn't it?
I think because I liked the idea of being a soldier, and I felt that if you don't go to war, you haven't really done a soldier's job, or not just on operations. You haven't done a soldier's job.
Yeah, but some people might be like a soldier just to keep the peace in case you needed, and etc. etc. But you actually want to go and impose whatever it is you want to do. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, you've got that aggressive mindset. No, do you know what I mean? You're laughing about it, but let's keep it, do you know what I mean? Okay, cool. So you really want to go and...
Yeah, I want to be a soldier, basically, yeah. Do what a soldier does, yeah.
Okay, cool. And then you get sent to Iraq.
Yeah.
Is that your first outside?
2003, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's the first time I've ever been on operations.
You get told you're going to Iraq, mate.
Yeah.
The war's happening.
Yeah.
Off you go.
Yeah.
And you're loving it.
Yeah.
You're like, fuck you, let me go.
Yeah, get me out of there.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Okay, you go out there. What is it like going there and actually being in that environment? Is it different to the picture in your head, or?
I don't know what, I never really thought much about it.
It's time to think about it.
Yeah, no, but as in when I got out there, I mean, I never had a picture, when I was going there, I never had a picture in my head of what it was going to be like.
So what, you're just chomping at the bit?
Yeah, I just wanted to get out.
Is this just young age, naivety? What is this? I'm trying to pinpoint it.
I was 22, I think.
Right. Looking back at that person there.
But everybody was the same. It wasn't, I don't ever remember anyone going, I don't really fancy it. We all couldn't wait to get out there.
Yeah, we want to go out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Everyone. That's hundreds of people, not 30.
Thousands, isn't it?
But if you go further, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I'm sure there's a few people out there who didn't want to go or didn't fancy it, but by and large, everyone I was with wanted to go.
And then kind of telling your parents this, I'm going to Iraq and all that.
Yeah.
How are they? Are they kind of apprehensive, or are they? Like...
I would think so. I didn't really ask them too much about it, but they did try and stop me. But I don't think anyone would really want their children going somewhere like that if they had the choice.
Looking back, was it the right choice for you?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, massively. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. You land in Iraq. You're at a base. Or how does it work then?
We started off in Kuwait.
Right.
Because that was a safe country.
Right.
And then we went across the border into Iraq, which was obviously an unsafe country at the time.
Okay, cool. So what type of things you seeing?
I mean, there's loads of stuff. I went. So I was at Basra Palace, which is in southern Iraq.
Right.
That's where we was like based out of. I was on Telic 2, which is the operation as the war fight infinity. The war itself was about 4 months.
Right.
And then it went into another phase where it was meant to be starting to rebuild the country, but it didn't really turn out like that.
But was you in the war when it was?
No, I went at the end of 4.
Right.
Well, this is the thing, for not even for me, but for a lot of the guys who went for the years. It went on for like, I'm not sure how long it was. Like,
too long.
But yeah, like 15 years or maybe longer after. But for a lot of the guys who worked out there during those periods afterwards, a lot worse than the war itself.
Right.
A lot more people got killed. There was a lot more violence.
Right.
It was a lot rougher than the actual war fighting phase itself.
Okay.
So we started to go through the phase of rebuilding the country, but it was only a couple of months after the war that we started getting attacked quite heavily.
Right.
And realised that it wasn't going to be an easy thing to just rebuild the country kind of thing.
So what type of things are you seeing? Not to take you down the PTSD rabbit hole.
There's a lot of roadside bombs. You'd see dead people all the time around the streets, particularly after the war.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ambushes. There was a lot of rocket attacks, mortar attacks on the places that you would stay in the drop mortars in at night.
When you're seeing this, are you not now thinking, shit, this is not, or are you still chomping at the bit?
You do realise it's real.
Right.
You think, okay, this is real. But then you also think, but when I was a kid, all I wanted to be was a soldier.
Yeah, but I get that, but seeing it there is very different. It is,
but you have to, you either
sink or swim.
Yeah, exactly that. You're either fit for the job or you're not.
Right.
And normally when you're there, it's not the right time to decide you're not. So you just get on with it.
But it's like too late.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
You're there.
And what type of are people getting hurt around you? Like people from your side? Are you,
not so much when I was in the army. I did a long time out there after as a private security contractor. That was rough.
That CP dollar, baby. Shit!
That was rough.
Taking that bullion. Anyway. Okay, cool. So when you're there, you're not really seeing some of your own.
No, not my own. No, not when I was in the military. No.
And then I'm going to ask the question.
Yeah.
You obviously take lives, or do you not take lives?
No.
You never took a life. You smiling at me like you took a life, allegedly.
No.
Okay.
Do you know what? One of the things as well, when everyone's firing, you don't know who's hitting who.
Yeah. Someone else has said that. Someone's been in a war sat here and said they couldn't confirm or deny. Do you believe that you took a life?
Do I believe?
Be honest.
Wouldn't know.
In your heart of hearts.
I wouldn't know.
Mate, you pointed at someone, you fucking fired it in there, like, and then they're either there or they're not. Be honest.
I literally wouldn't know.
Do you feel like do you feel like there is a high possibility that you met?
There's a possibility, yeah, of course there's a possibility.
Okay. Do you let that stay with you, or is that just gone? Do you not have a chance to dwell with that?
If I have ever killed anyone, I wouldn't be here today if I hadn't.
Huh? Say that again?
If I had ever killed anyone, I wouldn't be here today if I hadn't.
Okay, as in it was either them or you?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Fair enough. And then the golden question I got to ask is, obviously after all that and coming back, should you have been in Iraq in the first place?
I don't know. I didn't even think about that. That
No,
wasn't my
but
decision.
now you have the luxury of hindsight.
Oh, I could tell you back then. No, 100% not. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you kind
not if you went, not for what we went there for, which was weapons of mass destruction. I think.
Yeah.
And there wasn't any.
Right. So how does that make you feel as a soldier, someone who gave their life, who was ready to die, and really ultimately you're not there for the reasons that you've been told?
It makes no difference to me because I didn't go there for the reasons I was told in the first place.
But the reason was, okay, so what was the reason that you was told? You would go, obviously it's a war.
Well, we wasn't, to be fair. We
So
wasn't told any reason. We was just told we were going to Iraq. When you're in the military, you don't get told what you're going for a lot of the time. You just go and that's it.
As a soldier, are you not allowed to question what's going on?
No, of course not.
Where's your own moral compass in this?
No, you don't join the army if you want to do that.
Right. Do you regret not having that moral compass?
No. If I wanted
it's a very interesting mindset.
Yeah,
I mean?
if I had that moral compass, I wouldn't have joined the army.
Because you're going to cause harm, i.e. kill people.
Not necessarily, but yeah, it's on the cards.
Ultimately, it's on the card. You want to be
yeah.
a soldier. Let's have it right. That's what soldiers do. You're in a war that now you realise you perhaps shouldn't have been there for in the first place.
Yeah.
So therefore, harm that may have been caused didn't have to necessarily happen.
Yeah.
And you just...
Yeah. Because the reason being, what choice do you have if you're a soldier? You have a choice to not be a soldier.
Yeah, no, I get all that. Yeah,
But
you
what
don't have a
choice
choice
do you
and
have
you're there.
if
Fine.
you are a soldier?
Completely understand that. But now you have the luxury of hindsight.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious as whether you still think doing all that was right for you. Like, if you had the chance again to speak to your younger self, would you tell him to join the army and go to that war?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I would definitely, yeah.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, no, I would, yeah.
Why?
Why? Because...
Sorry to press you on this, but I'm very curious.
The reason why is because at the time I did...
At the time is fine. I'm talking about the Simon Newton today.
Yeah, but you can't...
I know you
what
can't.
you're doing today, you can't say...
But I'm saying...
That's like saying if you knew you was going to run someone over, would you have got in the car? Well, probably not, would I? Do you know what I mean?
Right,
but,
there you go. Probably not. But you're still saying, yes, I would
But
have.
you can say with any conflict, if it wasn't just, would anyone... I don't think anyone would have gone if it wasn't just, would they?
Yeah.
I don't think anyone would have gone, really. But
again, I completely understand. But I'm talking about you seeing your previous self and understanding the context of this, because then you didn't understand the context. You're told to go somewhere, you go do it, you don't know what's what, you've been told that's the enemy, blah blah blah, do what you got to do.
But if I was back then, if I was gonna get told to go and then they told us that it wasn't just, we still would have gone.
And you still would have done it?
Yeah, 100%, yeah.
Would you have had any regrets though?
Do
you have any regrets?
No, of course not, no, I don't regret things. It wasn't my decision.
Very cold mindset.
Yeah, you got to be a soldier.
No, I get that. It's very interesting. You very cold.
I've done nothing in my life that I've ever regretted.
There's no grey areas. It's like because I believe, obviously, from my perspective, you shouldn't be in the first place. Why are you there? You've got no right to be there. You're doing this, i.e., causing harm. If they've got problems in that country, what's it got to do with you?
Yeah,
Let's be honest.
I agree. I'm with you on that.
But I'm saying you're agreeing with me. But at the same time, you're going. I don't regret it. They kind of don't...
It's because I wanted to be a soldier. I can't be a soldier if I don't go to a war.
Yeah, but that's at the cost of someone's life. Do you get what I'm saying?
Could have been mine as well.
Yeah, but you put yourself there. Do you understand what I'm saying?
No.
Like,
but also the person who's shooting at me's put himself there as well.
Well,
we was trying to rebuild. We wasn't trying to attack.
Was you though?
Well, of course we was, yeah. That's all we was there for.
So you thought you'd go there just to help this country for no...
Don't forget the war was over.
Yeah.
I wasn't part of the war.
Right.
I was a part of the rebuild.
Yeah. Do you feel like the country could have just built itself? They didn't really need...
No, I actually think that if they had been helped the amount of money what got piled in there to rebuild it, if they'd let it happen, it would have got on its feet. It'd have been a lot stronger than it is today.
Okay.
And it would have been a fantastic place.
How close were you to losing your life? Was there any instances?
In the military, not very.
No?
Not really. No, in the military, not many. Private security, quite a lot.
Okay, cool. How long are you out there for? And during the military period?
6 months.
6
You
months.
do 6 month tours at a time, yeah.
Cool. You come back? Yeah.
I didn't come back for long. I did. I left the military after. I got offered a job as private security back in Iraq.
So why did you leave?
To do that job.
Because you got a job.
Just
so you're there as military, and you can just leave then?
No, I was near the end of my term anyway.
Okay.
So
you serve your time.
It works out at
as
the
it
right
happened to
time.
be, you get offered.
More or less. I had to wait a little bit before I could get out, but more or less I got offered. Well, I got offered the job. So the private security company started working in Iraq.
Right.
halfway through my tour as in the military, so I started bumping into people I knew who'd been soldiers who were working for private security.
Sure.
And that's kind of how I got offered the private security job. But I was still serving at the time, so I couldn't do it.
And then just touching on the pay, it's allegedly shit.
What, in the military?
Yes.
Compared to private security, yeah.
How much does a soldier roughly get?
I can't remember what I was getting back then, but maybe two and a half grand, 2,800 quid a month or something.
What's that?
But
Before tax or after?
That was after. But that was also, you got allowances for being overseas. You got allowances for being at war. Right. So it's kind of the highest pay you're ever going to get because of you picked up all your allowances by being away.
What's that a year? What are we talking? 30, 40 grand a year?
Probably. Don't forget. So again, because I was signals, you get paid depending on what you're in as well. So if you're, like we said earlier, an aircraft engineer, you're going to get quite a lot of money. Right. So it depends on what regiment you're into, how much money you get as well. Yeah,
fair enough. And then in regards to like PTSD, do you have any? Is that something that because you've seen like a cold character, this brother's cold, you know, colder than a motherfucker, I'm telling you. Are you aware of these 4 letters?
No,
Do they exist
PTSD,
in your head?
Yeah, that's something you eat, isn't it?
See, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, no.
No?
Not really, no.
So there's things you've seen, obviously dead people, etc., and it didn't play on your mind at all?
Not enough to
lose sleep.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, you're obviously conscious it's a dead person. It's something, especially when you haven't seen one before. Maybe you've seen it on the telly or whatever. You also, depending on how long ago that happened to that person, you're also conscious it could have been you. Yeah. But you got to move on.
Just touching back on a previous point, do you think soldiers are underpaid?
Oh yeah, well I think there's soldiers, nurses, doctors, the police, everyone's underpaid when it comes to going in harm's way or helping others. Yeah,
fair enough. Okay, so PTSD doesn't exist in your vocab.
Okay, yeah.
What about other soldiers that you served with? Have they ever experienced?
Yeah, I mean, look, there's lots of guys. It's a massive thing, PTSD. Just because I don't.
Yeah.
Lots of guys have. Not necessarily what I've known, but in the military, have taken their own lives. You know, suffer with it every day. It's a huge thing, yeah. And
you just can't pinpoint why you just don't have it. It's great that you don't, I'm saying you don't.
No, I mean, look, the thing is with it as well, there's all different strains of PTSD. So just because you've got PTSD, you're not necessarily going to take your own life. Right. Just because you've got PTSD, just the raw form of maybe not being great in crowds, loud bangs, that's signs of early trauma. Right. So do I get that a bit? Probably, yeah. I probably get that a little bit. I don't particularly like being in the middle of Wembley Stadium. Yeah. No one does, mate.
Well,
and that's the thing, isn't it? All squashed in. Yeah. Loud bangs make me jump, and maybe I've jumped a bit harder than what you might have done, or you might not have thought nothing of it. Yeah. But in terms of am I going to go and sort of walk into the middle of nowhere and take my own life? No, I don't. I'm unfortunate, but I don't have those thoughts.
Okay, so you get offered a private security now over there. They say, right, you're leaving the army, you might as well join, you've got all the experience. What does that entail then?
So I worked for an American company out there looking after oil workers who were rebuilding
That's
all
what
the
they
oil
were
wells.
Fucking after, oil, wasn't it? What else was it? Yeah. It wasn't a Nando's chain, was it? Right,
they were because a lot of the wells got blown up in the war and they weren't producing oil, so they were fixing them all to
fixing them or taking it?
No, they were fixing them.
Okay. That's very noble.
I mean, ultimately, I don't know how it went with the government, but I think there was some sort of deal for a certain amount of wells in return of fixing. I believe.
I.e. fucking all of them.
It weren't all of them, but it was enough to make some money, I'm sure.
Right. Okay.
So I did that for 2 years, I think it was.
Up in Baghdad. So just to clarify, they're extracting oil from the land. Like
they were fixing them so you could pump again. These things they could. Don't you remember? How old are you?
I'm old enough.
Can you remember them in the news when they were all on fire and everything was burning and it's just black? Right. So they had to stop all the fires and they had to re-drill again to be able to get them into a place to pump.
And once they're pumping, who's extracting?
I don't know. It never got finished when I was there. That took too long.
Who do you think took the oil?
I wouldn't have a clue.
Be honest, bro. You're there. Come on, mate. You're on the ground. I'm not trying to know who's you're working for the Americans. You're being supremely noble. You're risking your life to fix oils. Amazing. Like
I wouldn't have a clue.
Mother Teresa in the flesh, right?
I wouldn't have a clue. Took it. I think
because to me it would seem like they're taking the oil.
Probably the UAE. It probably got split across all the countries.
Okay.
And if you want to chuck in US,
can you see where I'm sitting from? It seems like you've gone in there. You're taking the oil. Not you per se.
No, obviously I get that.
That's how it looks.
Yeah, it could
And
look.
I'm not gonna lie. I think Stevie Wonder can see that.
Yeah, it could look like.
Do you get what I mean?
They took it. They took. They definitely took a percentage. Didn't take it all.
Okay.
Yeah, no way they took it all.
Okay, fair enough. What type of things are you seeing when you're doing the kind of that type of stuff?
So in Baghdad at the time, obviously Baghdad's a city,
Right.
so it's quite congested. There's a lot of car bombs.
Right.
There was a lot of rocket attacks. We stayed in the Sheraton and Palestine hotels in the centre of Baghdad,
Right.
which was guarded by a US Army platoon.
Right.
Because it had a lot of Westerns in it, a lot of the CNN, BBC, ITV.
Right.
They were all in the same hotels as us.
Right.
So it was guarded. The area there was guarded by the US military.
So is your job to guard the building or just a certain portion of
people,
it or client?
People, right. Yeah. So we had the head of the
Principal.
KBR.
I know the words.
Yeah, right. That basically. Yeah.
You get me. Right.
And we'd take them out on meetings and visits and whatever they were doing from those hotels. But they got attacked a lot.
And what's the pay like? Be honest.
Oh, back then we was 10 grand, I think, a month.
10 grand? Hey! No wonder he lives where he lives.
Back in 2003-4.
Okay.
Obviously, a lot of us were. We didn't live in UK anymore, so we were non-residents, which means you're not subject to UK tax if you're non-resident.
Okay.
So, yeah, for what was I, 24 years old, I think. That's
right.
Not bad money.
Well, it's decent.
Yeah.
So it's 10 grand a month. How long do you work out there for?
I did 3 years.
You was in there 3 years?
3 years Iraq, 2 years Afghanistan.
Okay, why are you in Afghanistan? The war or just private?
Private security as well.
The same thing?
Yeah.
Helping the oil people again?
No, it was British government.
Okay.
HMRC.
Okay, and when you're seeing kind of all of these attacks and stuff, you're still just very stern?
The private security is worse. The reason why we used to get hit a lot more,
right,
for starters, but you don't have to back up like the military have.
Right.
We don't have tanks and aircraft and everything else. You've got whatever you've got
right.
with you that day.
So is there a time where you're thinking, shit, I'm done now?
Oh yeah, loads of times, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's you and no one else. You got no one to.
What's the worst injury that you sustained?
Nothing.
Nothing.
No.
Fucking
I've got tinnitus in my right ear.
Oh, that's.
But I mean,
yeah.
It's not even worth talking about compared to what some of the guys got. You know what I mean?
So what about other people that are around you?
Killed. That's the worst injury.
You're literally seeing people around you being killed.
Killed, yeah. Killed. Legs and arms. Burns was quite a big one. Gunshot.
And you came out unscathed.
Yeah.
Do you ever question why that happened to you? What is that? Is that luck? Is that blind luck? Is that a godly thing? Is that?
It's probably everything put together.
Yeah.
I don't think it's one thing.
That's nuts, innit? Okay, fair enough. So then you end up in Afghanistan with the same company?
No, so it was the same company, but we worked for HMRC.
Hey, the tax. I got no money, you know. Right.
And do you know what? It's funny because everyone says, "What's HMRC doing in Afghanistan?" But
it's true. What are they
HMRC doing? Is not just national insurance and income tax or whatever.
It's fixing oil to help the other people in the world.
They do all the borders.
Meaning?
So, well, they do all the airports, HMRC, they do all the ports like Dover
right.
for drugs and, nothing to declare when everyone comes through. That's HMRC.
Right.
So all the city gate checkpoints in Afghanistan, which the checkpoints will go into the cities, the airports. We trained the Afghan drugs police to monitor those sort of correctly.
Right.
And then we took HMRC officers out to monitor them, making sure they were doing their job properly.
And how much is that? Same amount of money?
No, I think that was slightly less. I think because
what, 9 grand?
As time 8, I think. Pittance.
Fucking disgusting.
Pittance.
Fucking piss taken motherfucker.
I know. That's why I left.
This guy. Okay, what's the difference between Afghanistan and Iraq, in your opinion?
In what respect?
Or
countries?
You tell me. Yeah. Things you're seeing.
Countries?
Or is war just war to you?
Oh no, war's war, isn't it? I mean, an atrocity is an atrocity, isn't it? You can't having it in a nice country or a hot or a cold country makes no difference.
Right. Fair enough.
I liked Iraq better. I just like the country better. I like the people better. I like the weather better.
Right.
But when Afghanistan's a great country to go on holiday if they didn't have the trouble there.
Okay, there you go, guys. Next holiday destination, you know what I'm saying? All right, cool. So you're out there 3 years, do all that, make a shitload of money. take a couple kegs of oil, but we won't talk about
I wish
that.
I'd done that, and now you put all these ideas into
You
me.
know
It's a
what I
bit
mean?
late.
A bit of bullion. I've seen the
we
videos.
could have gone into business.
I know that the God bullion was taking.
You got a first for this oil, haven't you?
He's taken some artwork off the walls and that. Do you know what I mean? It's cool. It's cool. And then what? You come back here then? So the work dries up. I'm sorry, the oil dries up.
No, so when I was in Afghanistan,
Yeah.
I come home on leave, and I used to get 4 weeks off.
Right.
So we do 2 months on, 1 month off.
Yep.
I literally just been home for 2 days, and I was going back to Afghanistan after the 4 weeks, but I got asked to look after someone down in London.
Right.
And I didn't want to do the job because I only had 4 weeks off, and I said no.
Right, so you get the close protection work,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So from my experience, a lot of ex-army get the close protection work. Yeah.
I was kind of doing that a little bit with the stuff in Afghanistan,
Yeah.
so that's where it come from.
So you're here on holiday, and someone says, "Can you look after these people?"
Yeah.
Right.
I said no because I didn't want to do it because it was a 10-day visit, I think, and which was pretty much half my leave.
Right.
They called me back, put the money up a bit.
How much was it?
Oh, I really can't remember that. It's because it's just a day rate. I can't remember. It weren't a lot though. But,
Right. Chump change, petrol money.
And
Oil money,
I
sorry.
decided oil money. Yeah. I decided to do it in the end.
Right.
And it was Michal Jackson.
Wow. Did you know it was MJ?
No.
Right. So you just say, turn up and look after this guy.
We got to Luton Airport. It's 5 of us. It wasn't just me. It's quite a big job, that.
Right.
And we got like a document. It had Michal Jackson on the front cover. And even then, I didn't really think much of it. I just thought, why is Michal Jackson on the front cover?
Are you an MJ fan?
No.
No.
I mean, I don't just. I liked his music,
Right.
but I wasn't like, running around in white socks and slip-ons.
And a
glove.
Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough. But you are very aware of Michael Jackson. He's probably the most famous.
Well, who he is? Yeah, I'd heard of him before. Yeah.
No, it's a different era. I don't think people.
I know,
really,
but I think even the little fella in Africa knows. Do you know what I mean?
like I'm telling you, like the whole world knew Michael Jackson.
Yeah, of course.
So he
Yeah.
is probably the most famous person to walk this earth. I think.
ever. Probably won't ever be anyone as
That's
famous
what I
as him
mean.
again.
Like,
I don't think.
it's
but
quite
yeah.
hard
No,
to
I
paint that
agree,
picture. Do you know what I mean? Like MJ is a different.
So I looked at it. I was like, okay, we're looking after Michal Jackson then.
Oh, that's it. Not like he didn't come out of you. Like no.
No, I might try the moonwalk. But I
Right.
can't
Okay.
remember now.
Cool. So what happens then? You meet MJ.
Yeah, he lands. We go on the tarmac, pick him up. We took him to the Bayswater the Hemport in Bayswater,
Right.
southwest or southeast London.
Right.
I don't think it's there now actually, but that's where we were staying. We took him to there.
Right.
He came over for the World Music Awards 2006, which was
Right.
He got an award there, and he got Guinness Book of Records.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it's for, but it's for something.
Yeah.
Couple of meals. Took his kids to see Mary Poppins in the West End Theatre.
Okay. What is it like looking after Michael Jackson?
Nightmare.
I can imagine.
Not
but
because of
can you
him,
paint a
because of his fan base.
Yeah. Is 5 people enough to look after Michael
No,
Jackson?
well, we had 5 of us, 1 US guy who come with him for 6. Not really, probably could have done with 12 to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I mean,
would've
we
thought
did
5 is
it.
Fuck all.
We did it, and it was all right. But you, I don't know if you can have enough to look after someone like that.
Did you speak to him at all?
Yeah, not loads because so many people around him as well as us.
Yeah.
You don't. But when you're moving around, you have to speak to people.
How does the conversation go with Michael Jackson?
How's it go?
Hello, mate. Do you want some oil? I'm selling some.
I don't know. What I asked him really. I didn't have that much interaction with him. Just asked him if he was going for dinner, and just it's all nonsense stuff. If you know
Because when
what I mean.
you like CP, there's usually one that handles the conversation, right? Or does everyone just talk to him? Do you know, like?
Yeah, no. It'd be so we had we mainly let his American security who was with him.
Yeah.
It did a lot of it. The only time I'd really talk to him is if he was in the car or going to the car, or if he was going in and out of a restaurant, or if I had to grab hold of him, or if you like. But it's not. When I talk about the other people I looked after in a bit, my interaction with them was a million miles much more than what I had with Michael Jackson.
Much more like
much more than
but
what
you
I
can
had with Michael
appreciate
Jackson,
probably
yeah.
with MJ, it must be difficult to even get a conversation. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
for sure. And not only that, it was like, if you'd 5 security and you got, I don't know, there must have been about 16 people around him constantly who were meant to be there.
Yeah.
Plus the 5,000 who aren't meant to be there.
Is this did you only look after him that one time, or is it?
It's like one time I went straight back to Afghanistan a week later.
Anything you see with Michael Jackson that stood out, or anything that you thought like, I don't know, things he was doing, or
No. I mean, look, the thing with him is everything we did was scheduled. There's no impromptu, I'll just have a walk in the park, just pop to the shop.
Yeah.
So everything was very well orchestrated. It had to be able to move him around. So you know, my exposure with him was only when we moved anywhere. Inside the hotel, I didn't bother. I stayed out of the way because there's no need for me to be around. So it was limited, and the time I did have with him, it was very hectic.
Yeah.
It was very busy.
Did you get any sense of his character at all? Or
Yeah, I mean, he was very...
Because people say that he's, he doesn't talk like that, for starters. Apparently, his voice is apparently much deeper. Can you confirm or deny this?
I've never heard a deep voice out of him.
No, apparently a deep voice. You know, a deep voice. He's apparently a joker. I'm just like...
maybe, I didn't experience that, but not impossible at times, maybe.
Okay, there's no funny requests of... I don't know.
No, definitely not. No, he was a very quiet, subdued guy.
Okay.
I'd say that's how I would...
Because I suppose you can only judge someone on how you meet them, right?
Yeah, how you see him at the time, yeah.
And then obviously years later, when you see allegations and shit like that, could you foresee any of that in what you met?
No.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, some people could say, I knew it was a wrong, or I knew this or that, I got a sense, I got a vibe.
I think that my own, and it's only my personal opinion, this is he was way behind his age.
Right.
He was a lot younger. For whatever reason, I don't know, but he was a lot younger than however old he was. I don't know how old he was when I was with him, but
yeah,
you know, he was more of a, almost you could say, teenager mentality.
Right.
That's what I felt.
Did you meet the other guy, Matt Fiddes?
No, he wasn't there.
Okay.
No.
I'm on the phone to Matt. I'm trying to get him down there. I'm gonna crack this MJ egg.
Well, he's the one. He's his best mate, or I think. Something
Matt
like that.
and Bashir. Yeah. But he was.
Bashir, I know Bashir.
Oh, yeah.
Bashir was with me. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Amazing. Okay, cool. Do that, and then you go back to Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Did you not want to stay for more of that type of life? It's easier.
Well, it gave me an idea of a taste of London, if you like.
Right, and you thought, what? Fuck this place.
No, I still wasn't ready to leave. I can't remember how long I did in Afghanistan after that. I did another 8 months or something maybe. And then I started getting fed up in Afghanistan. I wanted
Why
to
did you
go
get fed
somewhere
up? The oil drought?
Just bored of it.
Okay.
Bored, same sort of stuff all the time. I move on. Once I get I've done with something, doesn't matter what it is, I'm gone. I'll do the next thing. I've always done that.
Right.
And that's where I was getting with that. I thought, what do I want to do? I didn't really think of anything particular. And I thought, well, I've done the London sort of bodyguard thing. Why don't I go back and get on with that sort of more of a thing? And that's what I did. So I went back to London.
So you come back, you go to London, and then is getting to work easy?
No. I started off with the Dubai royal family, 2 years, in London, not in Dubai.
Lovely.
So
the Dubai royal family in London?
Yeah.
What, as in they lived here for 2 years?
No, so they come in for the summer.
Right. So you look after them every summer?
Yeah, at that time I did two rotations of it, if you like.
Yeah.
There's loads of people on it. It's a big family. It's all different houses all over
and
the country.
What do you do? Just drive them around? What is it?
Yeah, and I did nothing really. I was only in central London, so I actually got quite a lot of time. I got paid for doing not a lot because they weren't here. I still got paid if they weren't here. I was here just in case they did come. So I actually had a real good sort of 2 years.
That's a cushy number, mate.
And after where I'd just been, it was nice to not be doing a lot.
Right.
But then at the same time, at the end of the second year, this is kind of how we were going into the film bit now a little bit, and we go back to security. So when I was in Iraq, actually private security, there was an older guy there who used to look after the armoury, which is where you keep all the weapons.
Right.
And I was just chatting to him one day, and I said, "What did you do before, you was out here?" Because he left the military a long time ago at the time, and he said he was a military advisor on a film called Troy.
Brad Pitt film.
Yeah, and I asked him all about that, and he told me all about it, and he gave me a phone number of this company he worked for, and I put it in a bag. And forgot about it for a few years. Obviously, after that, then I went to Afghanistan, and then I moved to London. And I found this when I moved up to London from Eastbourne. I found this card, and I thought, I need to call this number. It's in Shepherd's Bush.
Yeah.
I was in Battersea at the time, and I went to see these people, and they said, look, it's all film work, military film work, and they said that the book's not open till next August, and that, at this stage it was something like this September, I think it was, something like that.
Let me just stop you.
Yeah.
Isn't books a lot of bullshit, bro?
Isn't what?
Books. You ring these agencies and they go, our books are closed.
Oh, I know.
What the fuck does that mean?
Well, you'll see why.
It's the biggest load of shit.
I know.
And let me call it out. Oh, I'm sorry, our books are currently closed. Well, fucking open the book then. It's just shit.
And that's what happened.
I'm venting.
But that's what happened to me.
Because it's happened to me loads.
They opened it.
I'm sorry, our books are currently closed.
Yeah, I got told to wait a year. But
what the fuck is that?
A month later, they opened it.
Yeah, mate. Anyway, sorry. I had to,
it's nonsense.
It's fucking annoying.
It is
and
nonsense.
They do it to so many people.
Yeah, all the time.
Our books are currently closed.
It's rubbish.
Anyway, sorry, mate.
So the books were
I've
closed.
lost it.
The book was closed.
You hit a nerve.
So I did all the paperwork for next year's when the book was open.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I was in the gym one day and they'd left a voicemail. No more than about 4 weeks later, after I was told the book was closed, asking me if I fly out to Morocco and do a film with Matt Damon.
Okay.
Now, I thought it was because they said all the books were closed and the lads, because I was still on the Dubai job at the time, but it's coming to an end, so it's kind of tying in just at the right time.
Timing's always good, isn't it? He's a lucky one, this one, isn't it? He's like a Forrest Gump. He's just lucky, bro. Wherever he fucking goes, you know what I mean?
It's how you engineer it, right? So, anyway, I sort of dug it out and went back down the office and it was genuine, and I went and did... I got off the Dubai job one day early so I could fly out to Morocco, and I did a couple of months in Morocco on the Green Zone with Paul Greengrass and Matt Damon. So that was my first...
what did you do on the film, sorry?
I played a US Special Forces soldier.
Oh, acting, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what it was for, yeah. So it's the first time I've ever done any film work, first time I'd ever done anything.
And how did you find the film work?
So I really enjoyed it.
Because you never acted before, right?
Yeah. But for me, I was playing a soldier.
You're
so
playing
it
you.
was kind of, and I just remember... again, with CGI and everything else now, it's all changed a bit and different budgets in movies. It's a high budget movie. We was blowing things up. We was firing blank ammunition. We was blowing walls up. People falling off buildings. And I was doing all the sort of stuff that we did with people firing back. And I was out in Morocco with no one was dying and no one was firing back. And I remember thinking, I could do this as a thing later on. I couldn't do it at the time. But I enjoyed it and I just thought I can pick this up another day.
And then for you said you always wanted to be a soldier. How is that now, perhaps, like closing that door? Because in the back of your mind, you're kind of no longer...
I itched the scratch.
Okay.
Is that right? I scratched the itch.
Scratch the itch,
yeah. It's the scratch.
Yeah. Yeah. And are you kind of like that? You just do...
I do it until I'm fed up with it and I move.
Right.
Yeah, and that's what had happened with the military and the private security. I've done it until I'm fed up with it. And that's what happened as a bodyguard as well. But, so I did that job in Morgan. So that's how... If we talk about acting in a bit, that's how I first got the thing from it.
Yeah.
I then started a private security company back in London.
Okay, why was that? There was just
I kept getting requirement for work and I couldn't do it all, and I was just farming it out to other people for free, if you like.
Is this like bodyguarding or is this
everything?
Running doors?
So hotels, we don't do pubs or clubs, but hotels, high class events, weddings, bodyguards, residential security, high net worth.
So people
families.
are asking you if you got people, and you're just thinking, I might as well just start.
Something up
because
myself.
you had the contacts, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So I did that. We still got it today. It's been going 15, 16, 17 years. Whatever it's been going.
Right. What's the company called?
Scari Secure, Central London. Yeah.
So I
started that up. I then went and got a job on. That's your oil. You like.
Hey, this guy loves oil, you know. I'm telling you, there's a rig in his garden, bruv.
I got a job doing anti-piracy out on the coast of Somalia.
What the fuck does that mean?
So basically, all the oil tankers at the time, I think it's still a little bit now, but not as bad as it was back then. 2010, 11, 12, I did it roughly. All the LPG tankers, they were getting
the pirates
attacked by pirates.
Is this the pirate thing?
Yeah,
I know about the pirates in Somalia, right?
So I went and did that. We'd go on board.
So sorry, just to put a pin in it. So pirates are taking shipments of oil, right?
So all they were taking they were taking the boats to ransom.
Right.
And then the flag state of the boat, which would be whatever government owned the boat, they were saying, we want 3 million, whatever, to get your boat back, and we give it back. So they weren't interested in the cargo as such. It's the boat and the crew they wanted.
Right. So you go out there.
Yeah.
Now you've got a company in the UK. You're doing things.
So that's running.
Why the fuck would you go out there?
Because I wanted to experience.
Scratch another itch.
Yeah.
He itches a lot, this brother, you know. He's got bare itches, bro. He's got mosquitoes. We need some talcum powder for him now. So.
Some would say allergies.
Yeah, we need talcum powder. Right, go
on. It was. That come up and that was quite... There was a lot of it going on at the time. I thought, I need to go and have a go at that.
How much was it?
Oh, I can't remember.
Someone told me, I think back in the day, they got £800 a day. Does that make sense?
I never got that. No, I never got that. I can't remember what I did get. It wasn't that much so. But the thing was, it was 10-day stints. So you'd get on a vessel, say in Oman, and then you'd travel up towards Suez Canal in Egypt, which would take you through a place called the Bab el Mandeb, and it's where the channel gets very thin. Right. It goes past the coast of Somalia, but what it does is it channels all the vessels in, and one passes like every 10 minutes.
Right. And then they just
that's where they had roughly where they had attacked. As time went on, they attacked in other places, Gulf Fade and Malacca Straits, but at the time when it all sort of kicked off.
And then how many of you are on a boat?
4. Plus obviously all the ship's crew, but it was 4 security on it.
And are you not worried that you just be sitting duck, just standing
sometimes
there?
we was a sitting duck. I did a few without firearms, and then.
Okay, why the fuck did you do that? Would they give you a bow and arrow,
More
bro?
of a challenge, isn't it?
What do you mean? So they actually say to you, "There's no firearms," or was that your choice?
No, we knew there was no firearms.
Okay, why would you do that? That's suicide.
Well, there's still ways you can protect the ship, not as
With
well.
what?
So we used to wire it up, so it's hard to get on, like barbed wire all around the ship.
Right.
It's just difficult to get on. Hoses you can use.
What do you mean a hose?
So all, especially like oil tankers and that, because obviously they catch on fire. The ship's got its own fire system, if you like, which fire hoses. But if you think of a fireman's hose, if I've turned it on you, it'll throw you across the flares.
Right.
I mean, it was limited. There wasn't tons of stuff.
But why were you not armed though? Are you not
at the
allowed to
time, at the time, no. At the time, we wasn't allowed to be.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh, the money on that's got to be up.
Yeah, I really can't remember what it was. We did 10-day stints, but
yeah.
But I'd go away for 10 days and do that. I'd come back and then work on the business for a bit, and then maybe the next month I'd go away and do another 10 days.
Are you not in any fear like when you're out here? Like, have you just got to switch off the fear?
I never used to think. Even when I worked in Iraq and Afghanistan, I never used to think about it.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes there was one job I did in Iraq that was really bad, and I just think, if you consider yourself already dead, then you're just fine.
No, what do you mean that's fine?
Well, then you're not going to worry anymore. You don't worry about dying. You don't worry about being hit. Just consider yourself. There's every chance you're not going home anyway. And
yeah, but very stone cold look in your eyes, brother.
Do you wonder why?
No, I don't wonder why. I get it, but I'm wondering if that's from like early doors or whether or not you have sustained that over time.
I don't know. I'd say it's probably a combination. Everything, all the things I told you already. Yeah, it's all of it probably. Probably.
It's really interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you do the pirate ships. Do you see anything fuckery up there? Or
no, it weren't too bad. We used to get pirate attacks and stuff, but quite often they come in on small, what they called skiffs, but they were, like small speed boats.
Right.
So, especially with that Bab el-Mandeb, every 10 minutes is a boat. Not everyone had security on it.
Right.
So if you showed firearms, fired firearms, quite often they just leave and go to the next one.
As in you fire it in the sky?
Yeah. Because
so why don't everyone just have guns? I don't get it.
Well, because it all depends on the shipping companies if they want to pay for it and if they want security aboard.
If you're in danger of getting robbed, you fucking pay for it.
Some countries didn't have the money or didn't feel like, didn't value their ships enough.
Right.
It just depended on the flag state of the ship, whether you did it or not.
Okay.
I did one actually where they had us on there with firearms and we had 2 Japanese warships, battleships, escorting us, one at the front, one at the back. I mean, why they paid for us to be on there as well without, I don't know. But so it literally just depended on what people wanted to pay.
Do you ever wonder what the cargo was, or is it not your business?
It's an LPG tanker, so as far as I was concerned, it was LPG.
What's that, oil?
Yeah.
oil and this brother, hand in hand. Let me tell you something, best friends for life. All right, cool, you do all that, you're building this company, it builds up, and then what, you're coming back and doing the bodyguarding now?
So I'm back doing bodyguarding, because I've done the ship thing, and I've done enough of that for me to have enough of it.
Scratch that itch?
That itch was scratched, yeah. And then I started looking after all sorts of different people, CEOs of banks, ultra high net worth families.
And is this work just coming in now? Like, are you just a go-to guy? Like,
not just, I mean, kind of, yeah. I had enough contacts to match a good stream of work coming in.
Yeah.
And I'd never touched another celebrity at stage since Michal Jackson.
Yeah.
But then I've got, who was it? I don't know, I've done a lot of celebrities now. I can't remember who the first one was after Michal Jackson.
Who have you done?
So
Reel them off.
I was with Bella Hadid for a long time in London. Most of this was in London. I did a little bit of Europe.
Okay.
Her sister Gigi, Kendall Jenner, she might be one of the first ones actually.
Yeah.
Rita, I've done quite a bit of Halsey.
Who's Halsey again?
Singer.
Singer, yeah.
Europe, Rita Ora, I did a bit of Europe. Dizzy Rascal.
The Rascal himself.
Yeah, I love Dizzy. Do you know what? There's so many little ones in between there as well.
So when you're kind of meeting them, are they just people to you? Or is there anyone they think, okay,
very much so. I've been doing it a long time as well by then. I couldn't really care less who anyone was as long as they were sort of paid the right money and what they was doing was within the law. I'd look after them.
And what is the right money for someone like you to come on board?
I used to go by what the job was. Like what I had to, it is, but where are we going? Where in the world are we going? What are we doing? Is there any risk? Is there no risk? You know, if you said to me, "Will you look after me for a month?" I've got a load of blokes who want to chop my head off, I'm probably going to charge you a bit more.
Yeah, but I wouldn't tell you that, would I?
No, but do you know what I mean?
Still a bit when they
So,
fucking turn up, mate. Right.
So yeah, it depends on a lot of things like that, and also depends who's paying. Is the celebrity paying? Is the record label paying? Is the production company paying? Is the model agency paying?
And roughly how much would it cost to kind of?
Anything from as little as 300 quid to 700 quid
A day?
It could be anywhere in between that.
Yeah. And then it's not in the UK. You just travel with them.
No, so certainly when I was with like Bella and that, you'd have a guy who did Paris, you'd have a guy in the States. So
because a lot of people don't like to change their security.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah,
because they get familiar with the people around them and then they get comfortable.
If it's full-time team, then they just travel with them. So someone like, let's say Beyonce, she'll have a full-time team. Yeah. He's with her all the time at her home, just constantly there all the time.
Because you need that trust in them, right?
Yeah.
They've got to trust you.
But a lot of the people, these other people, people don't realise they don't have them all the time.
Right.
They use them for events or certain places, maybe certain countries, but when they're at home somewhere in the States having a week off, they don't have any security.
And then what's some of the wildest shit you've seen? You don't have to say who it was that did it.
Yeah.
Because that's like grasping, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
I know you've been in some rooms.
I always get asked that question, and do you know what? The sad answer is nothing, and I'll tell you for why. Because
don't lie, man.
No, because so obviously
I'm not asking about a Diddy party, bro. It's cool, bro. You get me? Man, I'm not asking about that.
Obviously, as a bodyguard, you see everything in the terms of you wake up before they do and you go to bed after they do, right? So the whole day you could spend with them. You are in hotel rooms with people at times. You are, at events and parties and everything else, but you shouldn't be putting yourself in a position where you're going to see anything that you shouldn't.
But naturally, things happen, innit?
Not around me.
Okay, find that a bit hard to believe, but go on.
That's you're very respectful of what other people are doing. When you're in a concealed environment as well, you're not on their shoulder every 5 minutes. So it might be at times you drop someone into somewhere and you go and sit in the car. Yeah. And you'd wait for a text message to go and pick them up. And then there'll be times where
they want you to do something for them, i.e., whatever it is, and you kind of obliged to do those things.
No, you don't have to do anything you don't want to do.
But I'm saying for them to come on, you know what I'm talking about, bro.
Yeah, but you don't have to do anything you don't want to do.
So when you say sorry, I don't do that.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's not something I'd do.
Job over the next day.
Well, if that's it, that's fine. I've got plenty of people I can look after.
But were people putting you in those positions?
No, they'd know not to ask me.
Why? Is it that stone cold look?
Yeah, they'd know not to ask me.
Yeah,
it would be that as well. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, they wouldn't dare ask me.
Fair enough. And then any kind of real kind of threats to these people, because sometimes it's more of a fashion show, innit? They want.
Yeah, no. So the celebrities, I needed it because they were famous. Threats, not.
Look! You've broken my microphone.
Right.
I'll do it. Right, go on.
Go and get a cup of tea while we're doing that. Threats.
Yeah. I asked him at the start.
Oh, mate, look,
what the fuck, man?
Still his cheap gear.
Oh, no, yo! Yeah, I need that oil money, innit? Give me that oil money. He's pulling the wire, bro. He's sitting on the wire.
I'll keep sitting on it, yeah.
Right, go on.
We're good, yeah.
Yeah, we're good.
So things like stalkers.
Stop flexing, innit, bro? You're trying to flex, bro. Allow it, innit? Right, go on.
Stalkers was one that might get a time. Overzealous fans. In terms of sort of like serious threats, I never had anything like that. No. I never got any fights or you got to remember as well, with bodyguards, not there to fight. Yeah. You're not there to, and there's lots of paps when you're looking after celebrity as well. So you can't put a foot wrong because otherwise it's all over the paper. Yeah. And not, you can get arrested as well. You can't.
I don't think people realise sometimes the job can be quite boring. You're just sitting around waiting.
It could be boring for 3 hours, very stressful for half an hour, boring again for 3 hours. It just depends what you're doing.
And in essence, it's difficult. Like, I don't know, you got to eat when they eat, I suppose, or you got to find pockets to go toilet. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you
got to do all that. I don't think people realise that. If you just, you're not a robot, do you know what I mean?
Nah, you got to do all that.
There's things that you can't really
Especially when you work on your own. So Jackson was 5 of us. All these other people I've mentioned, I was on my own. I didn't have anyone else with me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I worked on
my own. I
find
that surprising.
Yeah, I always worked
Why
on my own.
was there not an extra...
I'd say cost.
But these people are millionaires.
Yeah, but they don't pay anyway. It's normally, so for the models, it'd be the agency that pays. For the singers, it'd be the record label that pays.
Right.
So they just, I never work with anyone
But when you're one-to-one with someone, it's much more personal, right? I.e. the conversation.
Yeah, it has to be, doesn't it?
They have to get to know you. Yeah. Etc. How is that for you? Just, are you all right breaking that barrier of talking with them, or are you quite stern with like, I'm just...
It's time and a place. You've got to learn when people want to talk to you and when they don't.
Right.
You don't start the conversation. That's for them to do that if they want a conversation.
Right.
And don't start asking someone about what they fancy doing tonight if they're about to go and walk on a catwalk. Do you know what I mean?
Who's the friendliest person you looked after? Give me your top 3.
Top 3, probably Bella, but only because of the amount of time I spent with her.
How long you spent with her?
On and off, probably 2 years, but it was only on her visits in
Which
London.
one's with Zayn? Bella or the other one?
I wouldn't even
Which
know.
one was Zayn Malik?
That's how into it I am. I wouldn't have a clue.
Right, cool, good. Right.
What was the question?
Your favourite, the top 3 friendliest.
It's probably Bella, Kendall, and Dizzy, definitely Dizzy, yeah.
And then who's the worst? Come on, bruv.
Worst?
You know this.
I've never had any, I'm going to say it, I've never had any bad ones. Do you know why I haven't? Because the reason why I haven't is because I get to choose who I look after. And if I think I'm not going to get on with you, I just say I'm not available.
Yeah, but how can you think? How would you know that?
Well, because they're celebrities, everyone knows them inside out to a certain extent.
Okay.
It's different with CEOs of banks and whatever else like that. Because no one knows them from Adam, so you might get caught out like that. But if I had a bad one, I'd finish however I've been booked for, and then I'm not available again after that.
Who surprised you the most? In they're a really nice person, and I thought they would be a bit of an arsehole.
I never had anyone play up.
Yeah.
Literally, I didn't. Because I just think people...
you strangled them in the fucking...
Well, that's an option, isn't it?
And
that's what they think when they talk to me, that is an option. So
hold this dig, you get me? Fucking behaviour, yeah? I fucking tell you to...
They don't play up. I think they just need not to be honest.
Fair enough. And then you get a lot of media attention, don't you? Yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Dressing, you know what I mean?
That's where it kind of comes from.
Right, talk to me about that. Because now you're turning fashionista, bruv. You've gone from being in the sidelines to fucking front pitch, mate. What's going on?
Life's changed. So I gave up being a bodyguard 7 years, nearly 8 years ago now.
Right.
I started acting full time.
Okay.
And I launched the clothing brand. And the clothing brand, Simon Newton.
What's the clothing brand?
SimonNewtonLondon.com.
Thank you for my bits, man. Man came.
They're coming. They're coming.
Hooked me up.
They're all in the car. It's good. Just getting forklift to get them off.
Right, go ahead.
So basically, when I was with Bella, I used to wear a bomber jacket for another company. I'm not going to tell you
right.
where.
Yeah. Fuck them. But why?
This is the only bomber jacket you want now. But
if you had your own company?
So I didn't. This all started later.
Right.
So back in around 2016, and Vogue labelled me as the real style star of London Fashion Week.
Okay, why?
Because I was just in a picture of Bella, I think.
So you were in a picture with Bella Hadid, wearing what?
A bomber jacket, jeans and a T-shirt.
That's it?
That's it, yeah.
And they took a picture of you and said, this man is the what?
Yeah, Bella Hadid's Bodyguard is the real style star of London Fashion Week.
Okay, that's a bit strange.
Plus
of Fashion Week.
I know.
Of the whole fucking
London
week.
Fashion Week.
The guy in the bomber jacket, fuck the catwalk. It's all about him.
Yeah.
Okay.
So...
When you saw that, what did you think?
Not a lot. I didn't think a lot at the time. All I did think was... so the company who I was wearing the jacket for started gifting me jackets.
Well, obviously.
Yeah, and I just thought, do you know what? I'm going to make my own jacket at some stage. Again,
you're
something for later on.
You're in Vogue magazine?
Yeah.
Okay.
But
are you not thinking yes? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
not really. I've been in loads of magazines with Bella at the time.
Yeah, but this is like...
But for me, like that...
This guy,
no,
like one fashion week.
Yeah, I didn't really think anything of it, I've got to be honest.
Really?
Yeah, not really.
Okay, fair
I mean, don't get me wrong, I knew it was a nice thing.
Yeah.
But I wasn't sort of skipping down the road thinking that,
okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Fair enough. And then you're getting more kind of press attention then?
Yeah, I did actually after that. I started trying, because obviously now I'm quite public with what I used to do and what I'm doing. Back then, no one knew my name and I didn't do anything like this at all when I was working as a bodyguard.
But did that enigma help then? Because people want to know, magazines want to know, who is that guy? Who is that guy?
Maybe. I mean, a lot of magazines picked me up after that. Any time I was with her, I got seemed to get my own bit every time.
Bomber jacket boy.
Yeah.
Bomber man.
I could say, as long as it won't bomber boy, I'll be all right. But so that's where the clothing brand started. Again, many years later, I was going to start this before COVID. COVID hit, so we didn't launch it. And then I started the clothing brand just over a year ago now.
Right.
It's flying at the moment, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's doing really well, yeah.
It's flying so much that you ain't got no stock for me.
Yeah, mate, I'll tell you, your size, you're quite a big, strong, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, he's gassing it.
I feel like
double XL only. I'm not there.
I feel like it needs to be handmade for you.
Okay, cool. So like the actual clothing's going well.
Yeah, so that was that. But the bit before that was when I left bodyguarding.
Yeah.
I finished
Why
over.
did you leave?
I had enough of it. I hated it.
Scratch itched?
Yeah, massively.
Itched
I just had I couldn't do it anymore. I just literally had enough of it. I didn't want to take any more work on. You know, you looked after Michal Jackson. You're not getting anyone more famous. I've been in some of the worst countries in the world to work as dangerous. I've done all that. I've been on the boats. It was other stuff I hadn't done, but I'd done everything that I wanted to do. Do you know what I mean? And all the jobs and people and places, I exhausted it for me. I'd done 17 years, I think, nearly in the end.
Right.
And then I thought,
a big pension.
Yeah. You can never have enough.
Yeah.
And I thought, so if I'm going to leave that, I was 40.
Right.
I thought, what am I going to do now then? I can't just do nothing, even with all that money.
How much money you make in total?
I don't know. It weren't a lot.
Ballpark?
It weren't a lot.
Oh, come on, mate.
It weren't a lot.
Drop it out. Okay. Did you invest your money?
Of course, yeah.
In what?
Yeah, in everything.
What did you do? Bitcoin? Yo! You bought it early, John. Now, seriously, what did you invest in?
Property.
Yeah, mainly property.
A lot of it is property. Yeah, and obviously starting clothing brands and things like that, it's not a cheap thing to do.
No,
so
it's true.
a
But
lot of money
you bought a lot of property.
Not a lot, no.
But
I didn't earn that much money.
You're good though.
Yeah.
And you bought it at a good time period.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I was quite young when I first bought it. Actually,
okay, fair enough.
Where was it? Yeah, so I thought I want to be an actor in. I remember back to the Green Zone. I did Sherlock Holmes between that as well. I forgot to say about that.
Well, what did you do in Sherlock Holmes?
I played a henchman for Moriarty, which was I think it was Stephen Fry. I think at the time.
Is it?
Robert Downey Jr., Jude Law, and Guy Ritchie was.
How did
the
you
producer,
get that? Then?
Yeah, through the same company I did the first one.
So they just called you. They just said, right, we need someone, and your face is on screen and stuff. Like, you're fully on screen.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a little bit of a thing with that. I did the first. So I was lucky I didn't lose my job. I did the first part of the film,
right,
which I was scheduled for the whole film. We had something like 6 weeks break until I wasn't needed again. Right. I went away and did a pirate job, right, which was only going to be 10 days. I got stuck at sea for 6 weeks because the job didn't go according to plan,
right.
Which means I missed most of the filming. So then I come back, I explained to them, because obviously normally they'd get rid of you. They don't like continuity and everything else.
Of course.
I explained to them, and luckily they believed me, and I got put on at the end of the film. So the film, actually, I'm only in it at the beginning and at the end. I'm not in it all the way through.
Still
Yeah.
Okay.
But so I'd done that as well. So I knew that's what I wanted to do was acting.
Yeah.
So then I went to acting school, got a diploma in screen acting.
Come on.
And then I went and got an agent.
Yep. Didn't you have an agent to get the part in the first place?
No, because I did it through that agency. But a guy gave me the thing in
books.
The books. Yeah.
Open.
Yeah, and then kind of that's where the acting went from there. I pursued it full time, and then obviously every year, Cannes Film Festival, Marbella Film Festival.
What, going there?
Yeah.
When you're going there, you just going there to network? How's it work?
Yeah, just to get around all the producers and film people and the casting directors.
So there's an element of hustle in you to do that, which is good.
It's another business. Acting's another business.
Yeah, but a lot of people don't do those type of things. They just sit at home and wait for the agent.
That's why you hear people waiting 18, 19 years to go and do a McDonald's advert.
Right.
That's why you've got... And the other thing is as well, I only want to do movies.
Right.
I mean, I do Netflix series, maybe, but sort of normal TV, EastEnders, Carnation Street, adverts, and that. It's not really what I wanted to do. I just
but it's interesting that you are a go-getter, right? You're going around these places, and does it kind of help, like meeting people? Yeah,
massively. I wondered. So I had an agent, and it wasn't really working out for me, so I decided to self-represent. Right. And since I've been self-representing, I've done a lot better.
And that in itself is a bit dangerous because a lot of people think that's not the way to go. It's
everyone told me it wasn't. I'd never done so well without
because some people see it as a weakness. Like this guy represents himself. He can't really be that.
It's the best thing I've ever done. Yeah, definitely.
Oh, that's interesting.
Whether I self-represent forever or not, I don't know, because the more films you get under the belt,
I hear that.
Then you can get a better agent. It slightly changes the thing. But at an early stage of an actor, the agents reflect.
But it's good to know that avenue can work for people.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's not easy, and you got to get at it. But and one of the things I did actually was once I finished with my agent, I thought, right, I've got no agent now. I'm not going to get a phone call. And it's not a world I knew. In the security world, I did models and singers, musical artists. I didn't do any actors, so I didn't know anyone at all in the film industry. What could have helped me or could have rung up. I started purely from scratch.
Yeah.
I went on Netflix. I went through the whole of Netflix and found all the films that I thought I could be in or thought I could play a part in, action films and all the stuff that I thought I'd want to do. On Netflix, it has a bit which tells you who made the film, the actors in it, and all that. I wrote down all the producers and directors. It took me ages. I did all of them, and then I found them. I hunted as many down as I could on Instagram or on social media.
Stalking people.
IMDb, got email addresses, and I did that.
Amazing.
And I blanketed everybody, saying I was just interested in having a chat with them, and I think I got 3 or 4 replies out of all of them. One of them, which I'm doing a film with at the moment.
Lovely.
A guy in LA I'm doing a film with too this year, and he come from that. So, and that's how I then got into being able to go to Cannes Film Festival and doing all these other, you know, and I have a whole network of people now, which I know, not my agent knows.
But there's a generation of kids or people that don't know this avenue of hustle.
Yeah.
They ain't got it in them.
It's the best way.
It's the only way that I, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like even me, I like to know.
If you have an agent, even if they're a good agent, you're still relying on someone else to do something for you. And the problem with it is that person will never work as hard on that as what you will. Not only that, an agent doesn't have one, unless you're like a Tom Cruise, an agent doesn't have one actor. An agent has 12 or 13 or 30 actors to look after.
You ever thought about opening your own agency?
Nah, it don't interest me at all.
Why?
Because what'll happen is I'll be an actor until when do you think? How long do you think I'll be an actor for? Until I scratch the itch.
Fucking hell, yeah.
So I don't see the point in opening an agency because I'll do that and then maybe I'll go directing, probably not directing, but maybe producing and make movies. So that's probably
okay. And then you did the stunt double stuff, right?
So now I doubled for Dave Bautista in Final Score,
right?
But not stunt double. So you have body double, which is a lot of people don't realise how it works. So you have anything that Dave needs to be there for, but kind of doesn't need to be there for. So in terms of if
his face is not in the shot,
kind of, yeah. If it's his back or his side, or maybe lower part of his body for some reason, or even just setting up camera, setting up scenes and shoots. So I did that for him in Final Score. I mean, I've done loads of like sort of bits and pieces. I forget half of them.
Yeah.
Since I've been acting, really, the movie, The Rise of the Foot Soldier Ibiza we're doing at the moment is probably the biggest one.
Just to put a pin in that, is it frustrating to be a body double for someone when they're kind of in essence like
yeah, I know what you mean.
Off you, they're kind of.
I did that before I went to acting school and everything else.
Yeah.
And it's actually because I was his double, I got everything that he got. So I got his trailer, I got his costume, I got his runners, I had everything. And that's probably what made me think, do you know what?
I need
to be an actor.
Okay, so you had his trailer and everything?
Yeah, I had everything. I had everything that he had. I
had
all of his stuff.
Okay.
So I thought, this is where, if you're going to be in this industry, that's the job you need to have.
But it must be frustrating as well. It's like, and then you're telling people, look, that's me, that's my ass. And everyone goes, shut up.
Do you know what? I never did that job. You know, when you're going to be a double, you know you're not going to be in it. You go there knowing you're not going to be in it, don't you? Because you're a double. So
I hear that.
So no, if you don't want to, if you're worried about being in it, don't be a double. It's just don't take the job on. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And then I saw a picture of you. Was it a Vogue picture? You're in a suit and stuff. Did I see that? I don't know. Have you done any like
tons of Vogue?
Okay.
I've been in over 75 publications.
Of Vogue?
Of everything like Vogue, GQ, and all of them.
But is that not amazing? Like when you kind of do you ever take it all in, or you just?
Do you know what? I still feel like I don't feel like I haven't done anything. I know I have done something, but even with the clothing brand's been in Vogue, Men's Health, Grazia. You know, that's all been with me with it as well. With acting, I've been in different publications as an actor. The security thing's dropped by the wayside massively for me, even though I still own the company.
Right.
I don't have nothing to do with it anymore, really. So everything I do now is film and fashion. But I realise I've moved on a lot since being a bodyguard and when I was a bodyguard as well. But I still don't, I don't know, when I look at myself, I still don't see much difference.
Would you not do the bodyguarding again, ever?
No.
Like
no,
if someone
I'm done.
said
Once I'm done, I'm gone.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah, someone said to me the other day, actually, in another podcast, what about if Tom Cruise asked you to be a bodyguard? Why would I be a bodyguard for Tom? I'll do a film with Tom Cruise. I don't want to be a bodyguard for Tom Cruise. That's gone. That ship sailed.
No, I understand that as well. Like,
it's gone.
And then let's talk about this new film, Rise of the Foot Soldier. How did that happen? What's going on?
So I got asked to do that about a year. So when did we start filming that? November last year, I think, out at Ibiza for a month.
That's all right for some, isn't it?
Yeah, and we got asked.
Beats Brighton, isn't it?
Asked. It was. Well, it's out of season November.
Oh, you know.
Always got to put a damp on it.
Right.
But yeah, it's good. We'd still filming. Just be filming Southend, filming in Guildford as well. Got a little bit of filming in a few weeks in Guildford to finish the film off, and it should be out around November.
What type of actors do you kind of look up to and you'd be like, that's a bit of me, or I'd like to be like them?
I used to get in the publications a lot, put alongside Jason Statham.
I would have thought Statham was
so
obvious.
I'd like to do a film with him. My name's come up with him so many times now. I'd like to do a film with him. But briefly once in Chelsea, sort of fleeting visit.
Yeah.
But that's it.
Was it like the Spider-Man meme?
But yeah, so I'd like to do something with him, probably along with Guy Ritchie. I think he's normally involved somewhere along the line. But I've never, even when I was a kid, I didn't have heroes. I never looked at anyone and
you
thought...
had G.I. Joe, mate.
I just never thought I never thought I want to be him when I'm older. I just thought I want to be me doing the same as him.
Yeah, I hear that.
Do you know what I mean? I never looked at anyone thinking I wish I was that person. I always thought I could do that.
You look at it and you actually like, because now you're looking from the inside out as opposed to outside in. You can see the craftsmanship. You can see the way they work. Is there anyone you think like, okay?
I think Denzel Washington.
Yeah.
His acting style.
My man.
If you could knock that out like that, I think he's got a very good. But I mean, there's a few like that, you know. But by and large, I'd probably like to take a bit from a few people.
What's the 3 best films of all time?
3 best films of all time. Wow.
I like.
For me, this is some of my favourites. The first Gladiator, I think that's on most people's list.
Yeah.
I like Lone Survivor, Mark Wahlberg. I don't know if you've seen that.
I haven't seen it, bro.
You're missing out. That's a good one for me. But it's a military film, and obviously my interest in military, that's probably why it might not be such an exciting thing for you. And it's based on, I think, an operation called Operation Red Wings, which is a true story.
What's that about?
US Navy SEALs getting sort of caught out on an operation in Afghanistan.
Like a Black Hawk Down type.
It's kind of like
Black Hawk Down.
Black Hawk Down is another one.
Don't fuck around with
That's another good one as well. Black Hawk Down, to be fair.
And Full Metal Jacket.
Saving Private Ryan was a good one, because that was one of the first kind of modern day
serious
war movies which you got to feel like you could have been there.
Have you seen 1917?
Yes, I have seen that. Yeah.
Do you know that was shot in one take?
Yes, it was continuous. Yeah.
Serious.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Watch that shit.
Yeah,
anyway, go on, sorry.
Yeah. No, that was good. And there's one called, I always get it wrong. Is it 34 hours or 64 hours or something? And it's about.
Is it the guy that cuts his arm off? No, that's the true story of the guy that had his arm caught in the thing. That's
in The Rock.
Yeah,
I've seen that. No, it's not that.
I haven't seen that, but that's hourish.
It's about a private security company in. I can't remember where it was, but basically the embassy got run over. It's based on a true story again.
Yeah.
The embassy got taken over and ransacked, and it's the fight to sort of. It's a true story. That's quite a good one. But I mean, there's a lot of good stuff. There's a lot of rubbish out there now because of all the streaming platforms. How many different ones there are, but there's also some very, very good stuff out there.
You ever thought about writing a book? Because it seems like
I did. COVID time, I got asked to do a book. I didn't do it. The reason why I don't want to do a book now, I didn't want to talk about all the gung ho bullshit. What's
gung ho bullshit?
Well, you know, all the Afghanistan, Iraq, being a soldier,
that's not bullshit. That's part of your life.
No, but what I mean is, I wanted to do a book from being a child to wherever I finish up, because I don't do all that anymore.
The war is part of that. It fits in that timeline.
No, it'd be in it, but I don't. There's so many books out there now of blokes talking about Iraq and Afghanistan.
Yeah, but
that's fine.
Is your experience.
Yeah, but I've not got no interest. I've got zero interest in it. I'd rather give a decent book out for people to enjoy and maybe even look up to. It'd be from doing all of those things up to being wherever I finish after acting and everything else. I think that's a much better read than talking about being ambushed. There's plenty of books out there like that, but you know.
Okay, but just from my point of view, their kind of narrative is not yours, so you know.
Yeah, it's not, but I don't know. For me, it's gone all that. I don't feel like I need to bring it up.
Scratch the itch, innit, bro?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What does the future hold for you, sir?
The future holds building the clothing brand, obviously 5-6 times the size, and the film work. It's mainly film acting.
And what happens when you scratch the itch of the clothing brand?
Sell it. I'll sell it.
Straight.
If it's big enough to sell, I'll sell it. I mean, I won't have scratched it until it's big enough to sell as a brand. Yeah.
Is there any other itches that you see that you can?
Do you know what? I've always said now that I won't do anymore because at my age, I'm 46. I've still got many years left in this, and I enjoy doing this in the clothing and also in the acting. It's still relatively new for me, so I've got plenty of itches I can scratch within the film world. So is there any more I want to scratch, like totally off-piste, if you like? Maybe. It depends how old I am and what it is. I don't know at the moment, but I haven't ruled it out. Realistically, no, but I haven't ruled it out.
And then children, do you have children in your family?
No.
Is that something that you look for? Or
no, not really. I'm not, my age now and everything else.
What's age got?
Well, no, you can be any age, but I'm happy with what I'm doing. Do you know what I mean? I don't need a girlfriend. And
I do this thing on the show. It's quite good. No other fucking podcaster doing this.
Anything could happen.
I've gone mad. Anyway, hold on. It's a good one. You'll like it. If I can find it. Where was it? Bear with. I asked AI to ask you questions.
Oh, right, going in,
Yeah, literally. It's not
How
me.
many?
Why? How many do you want?
I don't know. How many you got?
Until the itch is scratched.
Right.
Yeah?
It's gonna be a long night, isn't it?
No, it's not. But how long has it been that long? Hour and a half, man. Relax, man. What's the matter? You know what I mean? What's the most intense or dangerous moment you've ever faced as a bodyguard?
As a bodyguard, probably being rocketed in the, I think it was Sherlock Palestine Hotel in Baghdad.
Rocketed, what is that?
Yeah, so 3 Chinese rockets slammed into the side of it, when we was eating dinner,
When you was eating dinner?
Yeah.
What was you eating, bruv?
I can't remember now.
Okay.
Probably ice cream, like ice cream.
You like that? The best flavour, bruv? He's like a Neapolitan man, isn't he?
Salted caramel, mate.
Salted caramel?
Yeah.
So he's bitter and sweet.
Keep it lively.
I see it personally.
Keep it lively.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
What celebrity was the easiest to work with and who was the most difficult?
Bella was the easiest to work with just because she was just easy to work with, and Michael Jackson difficult because his fan base.
Do you still speak to these people?
Michael Jackson's not here anymore.
I know that. But Bella?
no, I don't speak to anyone now.
No. Okay. Have you ever had to physically protect a client from a real threat?
In the Middle East working, 100%. In the UK, no.
What are some of the biggest misconceptions people have about celebrity security?
But it's all sunglasses, red carpets, looking big and hard, and it's just totally the opposite. It's the opposite.
It is though, isn't it?
Mate, I've probably spent, I reckon I did maybe 5 or 6 red carpets in 17 years, and you spent about 4 minutes on each one.
Yeah. What's the craziest request a celebrity has ever made to you while on duty?
I've never really had a crazy one. I've not had anything crazy. They've all been very normal people that I've looked after.
We've done the Michael Jackson swerve that. Can you share a behind the scenes moment with a celebrity that the world doesn't know?
No.
Fair enough. How do celebrities behave when no cameras are around?
Same as everyone else. Same as normal people at the end of the day.
Was there anyone that could really turn it on when they were out in public? Like that you thought this person is really turning it on?
What, as in to be someone
they're
not?
A polar opposite of what they are? Like a...
No, not massively, but they all do to a certain extent. Because if you're having a bad day and you've got to step out into the crowd, you can't have a bad day in front of the crowd.
So who was it the most that you thought?
Well, I'd say they're all similar. It just depends on what day they're having. Okay.
Have you ever had to protect a client from an overzealous fan or paparazzi?
Yeah, obviously, many.
What was the turning point that made you leave Bodyguard to acting and fashion? You scratched the itch.
Yeah.
How do you stay disciplined and prepared for anything in your career?
I don't know. I think I've always had that installed in me from quite an early age, to be honest.
What's the biggest mistake you've made as a bodyguard?
As a bodyguard, I don't think I've really made anything big, particularly big. Probably maybe gone the wrong way before or something. But I don't know.
Wrong way? Ways was wrong.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Has anyone ever tried to bribe you for insider info on a celebrity?
Nah.
Really? Yeah, you must have had the offer.
Nah. It's the same again. People know it's not something to ask me, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll be like, come on, mate. Here's fucking an envelope. Like,
do you know what?
You could turn it down.
Don't need the money, mate.
What's a day in the life of a high-profile bodyguard really like? We've covered that. Yeah. What's harder, protecting celebrities or becoming one yourself? Jesus, are you mad? Sorry.
It's probably becoming one yourself, I think. It's a lot harder.
Yeah?
I think so, yeah.
How was your military and security background influence your approach to acting? Well, you played pretty much characters that you...
Yeah, it's helped a lot in certain respects, not in others, but...
What inspired you to start your own fashion brand and what sets it apart? I like that one.
Sets it apart is a good one because so it's not the cheapest, it's not the most expensive.
How much is the jacket?
250 quid.
Holy shit, get the oil money, sorry.
However, which people go, it's a lot of money, you can get a bomb jacket for 80 quid, you can, but the jackets that we match are normally about 2.5 grand.
Okay.
In terms of quality, we use the same factories in China, in Turkey, and we tried developing a brand where it's middle market money. So it's affordable not to everyone, unfortunately, but to many, and it can be if you want. But it's when you put it on, it's a 2.5 grand Gucci jacket.
Is that just jackets you're doing, or you?
No, so we do tracksuits, t-shirts, jackets at the moment, but we're constantly bringing new products out.
Lovely, fair enough. Maybe one day I would get one. Maybe
it's in the post.
You never know. If you could go back and give your younger self one piece of advice, what would it be?
You're capable of anything you want to do.
Have you ever had to save a celebrity from their own bad decision?
From their own bad decision.
Have you ever had to intervene and say, listen, I don't really think that's right, mate?
Yes.
Who was it? What happened?
Nothing, just someone wanted to go Winter Wonderland and it was only me with them and I just said, this is not going to work, do you know what I mean?
Who wanted to go to Winter Wonderland?
I can't say.
What idiot said, let me take me to Winter Wonderland?
Yeah, it could happen, but not just with me. I needed more people with me, so I said no.
What's the wildest, most jaw-dropping thing you've ever seen in the celebrity world?
There's nothing that was really jaw-dropped me before, to be honest.
He's hard work, this guy, I'm not going to lie. Have you ever seen a celebrity fake a scandal or manipulate the media for attention?
No, definitely not.
Come on, be honest.
Listen, they're all super A-list. What do I need attention for?
What's the biggest lie a public believes about A-list celebrities?
What's the biggest what?
What is the biggest lie the public believes about A-list celebrities?
I just think
they're all cunt notes.
Well, they all think they've got tons of money and they lead an amazing life. And they do have a good life, but it's not all roses.
Never is. Have you ever witnessed a celebrity being abusive or mistreating staff? You must have seen that. I won't ask you.
Not around me.
This guy don't see much, does he? I've noticed.
People don't play up.
His vision is what the fuck. Right, anyway. How much of Hollywood is controlled by powerful elites with hidden agendas? Wow.
I don't know a lot about Hollywood, but from what we read in the media, you'd think it's a lot.
Okay. Have you ever had to cover up something illegal or unethical for a client?
No.
Have you ever been bribed or pressured to leak information about a celebrity?
No.
What's the darkest secret you learned about working in a celebrity security?
Darkest secret? Nothing.
Nothing. See, I'm Simon, call me Simon. Are bodyguards sometimes forced to turn a blind eye to illegal activities? Yes, they are. I'm answering that. Have you ever been told to stand down when you knew a celebrity was in danger? I don't really understand what that is. That would make sense.
No, probably not. Yeah.
How much truth is there to conspiracy theories about Hollywood being corrupt? Well, I don't know why they're asking you that.
No, I wouldn't know.
Did you see anything questionable while working with Michal Jackson?
Questionable?
Yes.
Depends what you call questionable, doesn't it?
What do you perceive as questionable? Is there anything you thought?
Not from him, no, from fans maybe.
Such as?
Just things that are just getting too involved, getting too lively and grab, just stuff you wouldn't normally do.
Were there any celebrities you refused to protect because of their behaviour?
No.
What's something shocking about the Kardashians or the Hadids that people don't know?
I wouldn't have a clue.
He fucking has a clue, he's not telling me. Have you ever had to protect a celebrity from another celebrity? Ooh.
No, not as far as I can remember. I don't think so.
Have you ever felt like a celebrity that deserved the backlash they got? We're almost there.
Probably not. Some of them, probably not.
Have you ever regretted protecting a certain client?
No, definitely not.
Have you ever been put in a position where you had to lie to the authorities? Well, say yes, is he?
Definitely not.
What's something about your past insecurity that still haunts you today?
I mean, if you talk about the Middle East, obviously it's probably a little bit, but
what? Because you claim to have no PTSD. So what haunts you about that?
Well, it don't haunt me, but you still remember things, don't you? You
like
still
what?
remember occasions.
Okay. Do they just randomly appear?
Only when I'm talking about it.
So some would argue that's a form of PTSD.
If I'm talking about it, I don't have dreams or I don't walk down the street thinking about anything like this. Like talking today about you, I have to rethink back to then to be able to tell you the story. So
does that help you or hinder you?
Not really, not there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you park your emotions so well? It's like I'm talking to someone, but it's like a statue at times.
I think you just put them in a little folder out of the way.
Yeah, I hear that.
The bad ones.
You compartmentalise it.
And you have to. You can't do that job if you don't do that.
Do you think more men should do that, or do you think it's good to talk about how you are and how you're feeling and open those compartments?
Depends on the person that you are.
What would you say men in general?
I would say it's better to talk. It's got to be, yeah. I would think so, yeah.
You don't seem like one of them talkers. But
well, because it's not, because I'm better with doing the way I do it.
You're better at handling it.
Yeah.
If you could expose one truth about the celebrity world without consequences, what would it be? Yeah. Shit question. Is there anything about your time in security that you wish you could erase from your memory?
No, definitely not.
Nothing?
No. Okay. Even the bad stuff, no. You learn from everything you see.
Is there anything we haven't touched upon, sir?
I think we've been over everything.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I think so.
Can't wait to have my jacket. I fucking can't wait. Maroon, lovely colour. Thank you for your time. Very insightful. It's very like, you know what I mean? Fucking hell, mate. And let me tell you something. The war stuff's a bit, you know, but fair enough. I'd like to thank you for your time. Appreciate it. And that's another one. We out. Peace.